Hello guys and welcome back. Today I wanted to recover the Borderlands Pre-Sequel DLC that was never finished and cancelled after the lackluster response to the pre-sequel in general. I have covered this before, but we got a final update, and with a lot of new fans joining the Borderlands series and returning people coming back after skipping the pre-sequel, I thought it'd be good just for everyone to get re-caught up on Luxy Space Adventure. So with that, let's get right into it. So let's quickly touch on the pre-sequel in general. According to the numbers we got from the Steam leak last year, which revealed the sales numbers for a ton of games on Steam, on that list was the entire Borderlands franchise, and the pre-sequel's sales were very low compared to the other games. Borderlands 2 had sold 11 million copies, and Borderlands 1 was at 4 million, while the pre-sequel was only at 2 million. The game itself was not developed by Gearbox Software and was instead done by 2K Australia, and after the release of the game itself, a season pass was announced for the game, which promised 4 pieces of post-launch content. And a lot of fans bought the season pass thinking in usual Borderlands fashion they would get at least 3 story-based pieces of DLC content. There is some room to have some sort of leeway because Borderlands 1 did have Mad Moxie's Slaughter Dome, but when the content started to come out, fans were not happy and wondered what happened or if 2K even ever planned to have more DLC. So the 4 pieces of content we got were the Handsome Jack Doppelganger pack, then the Ultimate Vault Hunter upgrade pack with the Hollow Dome Onslaught, the Lady Hammerlock Baroness pack, and finally the Claptastic Voyage and the Ultimate Vault Hunter upgrade pack, which was the only piece of story-based content for the pre-sequel and was actually finished by Gearbox Software and released 1 month before 2K Australia shut down for good. Which got most people thinking if Gearbox and 2K worked to fill the season pass for the game as quickly as they could and for as cheap as possible after the problems with 2K Australia and sales for the game. And most people wondered if they originally could have gotten more DLC content. And soon after the closure, we started to get news about a cancelled DLC that was being worked on until 2K Australia was closed. It's not completely clear whether this was going to be released along with the Claptastic Voyage or if the Claptastic Voyage was released once this project was cancelled, but we'll get into all of that later. So let's piece together a clear picture of what this DLC would have looked like based on what's been released. This art comes from Luke Villayan, who worked as a concept artist at 2K Australia and worked on the pre-sequel in 2015, and Chris, who worked as a senior artist at 2K Australia. The Borderlands wiki states, quote, Luxy Space Adventure was set aboard the intergalactic cruise ship Lusitania, where the Vault Hunters were to have a well-deserved getaway, until space pirates boarded the ship and the other passengers began to mutate into plant-like zombies. Some of the art we got was the Lusitania itself flying in space, and definitely resembles what a standard cruise ship looks like, but in space. Once the Vault Hunters get there, we know at some point pirates would infiltrate the ship, with who would become one of the bosses, Flamey. And we even get a model of what that would have looked like, them penetrating with their ship in engine. Flamey herself went through a ton of changes and was originally going to be more monster focused than a human. Another boss fight we get along the way is Crodrax, and the actual name of the image itself is Flamey's mount when you download it. So we might have fought Flamey throughout the DLC, maybe once with the mount and once later without. Now let's talk about the ship itself. We have a few good looks at what they wanted to accomplish. The main lobby itself kind of looks like the inside of a mall and features a prominent statue in the middle of the lobby with a star figure. And that would have been the main focus of the DLC, and the star figure's name is Luxy. And an early model was created and just shows the sheer size of this project itself. And for perspective, you can see the small figure at the bottom for scale, which would have been our characters. And once again proves that they were moving along past just concepting. There would be helper robots throughout the ship to help us as well and probably give missions and just help the other passengers. One noticeable thing I'll mention for this concept is they wanted to have a Malawan robot, which would have been interesting to see them incorporate, but for the final designs that were colored, they looked like they just wanted a single type of robot with different outfits, but seeing Malawan could have been really cool because we really haven't gotten too much information about them. And we even have models created in-game for these robots, which can be seen for both the chef bots. One features a chef bot cutting, and the other shows what looks like one of the robots malfunctioning. So once again, it's not just concept art, they moved forward and started working on animations and in-game designs. We know as we progress, the ship hits an asteroid, which starts to infect the ship and cause problems for the passengers. In the corner of the shot, we can see Claptrap and Wilhelm. The infection starts to turn the passengers of the ship into these plant hybrids, which I assume is who we fight throughout the ship once we take care of the pirates. And we can see kind of 3 stages of the transformation through more concept art. And there's even concept art of Luxy being taken over by this organic material as well. There'd be a new way to travel throughout the ship called the Luxy Ride, which looks more like an amusement park ride, with the Luxy robot in front and room for all the Vault Hunters in back. One just note, I want to say how important movement and traversing these big worlds was for 2K Australia. In the Claptastic Voyage DLC, they had those movers which we just jumped in and it took us to where we need to go. So they focused more on traversing the world yourself besides just fast traveling. So that's something really cool that I just think is worth mentioning. So as we work our way throughout the ship until we get to the raid boss at the end, which looks like this monster that's taking control of all the passengers on the ship. It might even be the asteroid itself. The picture itself is captioned arena style raid boss with different platforms to jump to throughout the fight. And we even see 3 different variations and they all had super different styles. So it wasn't only a palette color change, though they said they decided on the purple one when they started to move forward. On top of that, it's assumed that new skins would have been added as well. These are just concepts, but they could have been used for this new content. We see a hipster-focused Athena, Aurelia with one side of her head shaved with tattoos, Wilhelm with a bun and sunglasses, 2 different variations of Claptrap. One is a hot dog suit and the other is a princess costume. Nisha gets a futuristic-looking pink headset, and Jack gets a more mature look with glasses and a beard. We also got animations for Nurse Nina. One is her coughing, another it looks like she's offering food and then eats it herself. We get a shrug, and then finally a passing motion. But once again, all of this was rendered, they were moving forward, it's not just concept for this project. One last thing I want to mention about the pre-sequel content that I don't think enough people cover is how big of a role 2K Australia had in making the Claptastic Voyage DLC. There is concept art from the lead artist at 2K Australia that shows the direct ideas they were using in making the DLC. We get the look inside of Claptrap's eye, the picture's even captioned inside Claptrap, and we see those new tunnels they had to travel between the different areas of Claptrap, along with the separated pieces of land that we also saw within the DLC. So I think 2K Australia was working on as much DLC as Gearbox would let them make once they finished the pre-sequel. When Borderlands 2 came out, Gearbox released 4 pieces of DLC within the first year, and I think that's what 2K Australia was going for as well. They were concepting both of these pieces of DLC and wanted to release the Claptrap DLC first, and then I assume when things got bad, instead of helping them finish both DLCs, Gearbox stepped in, took the Claptrap DLC, which was probably closer to finish or had more fleshed out ideas, finished it, got it ready for release, and then scrapped all the plans for Luxy, even though it seems like they were at a pretty good spot. So after all of this, it's super easy to think about how great this could have been because it didn't get made, but it looks like 2K made decent progress on this project before they were shut down. Interest died down for the project, but was brought back when the possibility of new DLC for Borderlands 2 or the pre-sequel started circulating, and fans wondered if Gearbox would revisit this DLC and possibly find a way to A, finish it, or B, incorporate the ideas into something new. And these ideas and rumors have been circulating for months now until Randy Pitchford finally spoke on this not that long ago. So a fan on Twitter said, quote, "Hey, Duval Magic, any chance we'll get those last pre-sequel DLC that was unfortunately canceled? I love Borderlands pre-sequel. I think I like it more than 2 because Jack and Athena were so much fun. Can't wait for hashtag Borderlands 3. And Randy Pitchford actually responded really short saying, quote, "Sorry, no." It does suck to hear because the ideas shown did have a lot of promise, and it's a shame the pre-sequel didn't get enough support to receive all the DLC and let fans down. But at least now we have confirmation that it is not happening and the speculation can end, so we can move on and be excited for what's happening next. But that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and share this. Subscribe for all things Borderlands, and I will see you guys in the next one.